Elections in California. One of several GOP leaders have suggested there might have been voter fraud after Democrats routed Republicans in the midterms. Well, after Election Day, Senator Marco Rubio wrote this on Twitter. Democrat lawyers are descending on Florida. They have been very clear they aren't here to make sure every vote is counted. They are here to change the results of election, and Broward is where they plan to do it. But it's odd, to say the least. We haven't heard much from prominent Republicans about what's going on in my home state of North Carolina in the 9th Congressional District. An investigation is underway into absentee ballots in Bladen County and the outcome of a House race there between Republican Mark Harris and Democrat Dan McCready. Well, the vice chairman of the county's Board of Elections just resigned, NBC News reports. He says things have gotten way out of hand. For the latest, I want to check in now with Michael Blitzer. He teaches politics and history at Catawba College, and he runs the site Old North State Politics. I should say North Carolina is under a winter storm warning, I think, until noon tomorrow. So we thank you, Professor, for coming in. Get us up to speed here. An investigation is underway. Who's conducting it, and what are we going to see here in the coming days?
The North Carolina State Board of Elections, which is made up of 9 members, 4 Democrats, 4 Republicans, and 1 unaffiliated, has charged their professional, nonpartisan staff with investigating issues regarding absentee by mail ballots in Bladen County, potentially in other counties within the 9th Congressional District. And they are scheduled to hold an evidentiary hearing in the next week or so to present their findings and to let the board decide if this was a legitimate election or if a potentially new election needs to be called in the 9th.
We're talking to you from Charlotte, the Charlotte Observer editorial board calling just for a redo here. Have another election there. How loud is that chorus there in southern North Carolina?
I think the chorus is growing day by day. What we are hearing more and more about are irregularities, and I think the general consensus is now that we are reaching the tipping point of this election being tainted. It does not matter if the election results would change in any way, shape, or form with these irregularities, but the board has the statutory authority to call for a new election if the taint is so great that it calls into question the overall election.
Joel Payne, I want to bring you into this conversation. You've been watching all of this unfold, and what the guy at the center of all of this, McCrae Dowless, is accused of doing here is getting these absentee ballots and paying folks to collect them, and all of that. Your sense of what happened here, and what does it say to you at a national level? Why should folks outside the 9th District care about what they're seeing?
My sense is, and let's just be really clear here, for Republicans, it is a worse outcome for more people to vote. All right, that's the bottom line with all of this stuff. Like, we can talk about irregularity, things that have happened here, et cetera, this person, this official, et cetera. Plain and simple, Republicans have decided the more people that vote, the worse it is for us. And so there has been, for over a decade, in recent times, but we know this goes back even longer if you look historically, there has been a dedicated effort to suppress votes. And it's not just what happens on election day, it's how many people didn't show up, how many people were discouraged from voting, how many people waited in lines and could not get to their vote because they had to take their kid to daycare or they had to get back to work. Republicans have decided it is in our interest to make it harder for people to vote. That should outrage everybody. And by the way, it's in North Carolina, but it's not just there. It's in North Dakota. Look at what happened with the Native American votes there in North Dakota. Maybe not enough to swing the election, but again, Republicans have decided the more people vote, the worse it is for us.
Katie, I'm going to turn to you. You live in Florida.
And blame us all down there.
No, I don't want to blame you all, but this happens, and you look at what happens after Election Day. Sure. And clearly there's a lot that needs to change in Florida as well. As you watch what's happening in North Carolina, what does it say to you about the process for reevaluating election results?
But let's be clear. This is not just throwing up obstacles. This transcends that. It is illegal. It is illegal in North Carolina to have somebody other than your close relative take receipt of an absentee ballot. And what we know was happening here is, you know, the GOP was having their candidate paid people to go and take your, oh, can I fill this in for you? So unless everybody in North Carolina is one big family and blood relatives, it's not happening and it's illegal. And that is what's really important. And that is why, again, blame the lawyers, but you need the lawyers. You need the lawyers to fight for the laws, to make sure that the laws as they're put on the books are enforced. And that's why we need to have a new election
And you
in North
need
Carolina.
presidential-style leadership to fix this. And we're not going to get it from the guy in the White House right now. So I'm interested to see this as a 2020 issue for prospective Democrats who are thinking about pursuing the Oval
As
Office.
a test going forward. Michael Blitzer, thank you very much for braving the snow. Really appreciate it. My thanks to